thing that I'm supposed to push at the beginning of the show. I think it goes like this. Yeah. It's all rocking out over there. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the last episode of FAE News here on FAE Productions for the year of 2022. I am happy to be, I'm your host, Fairy Princess Lolly. Happy to be with you guys here tonight. I'm here with Ion the Leprechaun.
Hi.
Yes. Hi, diddle you. And Flora the Fairy. My words are obviously not going to work.
Words are hard.
I know they are. And Amanita Sterling.
Cheers.
Yes. And before we jump into everything tonight, I know we got started a little bit late, but I spent all afternoon. Oh no, Sissy. No. I had a straw. But Sissy is helping me with the show tonight.
She's very helpful.
Yeah. Yes. Very. No, go down, actually. Okay. So what was I going to say? I was going to say I've been working since noon, actually, to do our year in review video for all of you all. So we're going to look at that here in a minute, but I do want to go get our obligatory things out of the way. So first things first, per the suggestion of Dame Ocean Mist, like, subscribe, and drop the bell. Somewhere in between, a New Year's Eve ball drop and our final mic drop of the year, I suppose. So, and then also, I would like to give a shout out to today's sponsor, which is Rainy Day Grace. Oh no, where's your thing? Here we go. Yeah. Thank you so much for being both a Patreon patron and one of our show sponsors. Rainy Day Grace is a fantasy-themed art and gift shop, primarily using acrylics on canvas. All of their art is created with high-quality materials, creating durable, color-fast, and water-resistant art designed to be enjoyed in any room, indoor or outdoor. Each of their paintings is a unique one-of-a-kind piece, and only a limited number of prints are available for each piece. You can check out their shop on Etsy at Rainy Day Grace, and there is free shipping on all orders over $35. So please check them out. Their information is there in the ticker. And of course, as you guys know, we rolled out here in this last month, we rolled out our Dross program. So they are one of our Dross vendors. And if you have Dross, you can cash it in for discounts in their store. And then I think with that said, that kind of brings us into tonight's show. How is everybody doing?
Good.
Pretty good. I mean, he was just sniffing.
Is that what you wanted for the holidays?
He's like, I can't.
No. Did you get something you like at least?
Yeah, I got stuff that I like. The thing I really want did not come over the border.
This year has been, from like beginning to end, so difficult. It has not been an easy year.
It's just fighting us tooth and nail.
Yeah, it really kind of is, isn't it? I got some gifts that I was very flattered actually to get. So I don't have them here within arm's reach, or I would show them to you guys. But it was a small holiday this year, but I felt like everything was also more intimate and heartfelt, Aww. So yeah, so that's it was such a rush, and I pretty much worked right up until 2 days before. So I don't know, but I had a good time. So what about you, Ion?
I had a great time. Got lots of good stuff. I'm enjoying quite a lot of it. So.
I'm waiting to see you assemble.
You froze.
Oh, okay.
Or did I freeze?
No, she froze.
The cool marble set. I want to see it completed.
Oh, well, I'm worried that in construction there will be cat interference.
A catastrophe?
There'll be a catastrophe. We'll have to send them the Catman dude. or on a catamaran. That'll be helpful.
Did she show my body?
You know, I'm not feeling it. Sorry, couldn't help it. You started it.
That one really ruffled my fur.
I'm still making people's Christmas gifts and still shopping.
So we didn't even get my order for Christmas cards didn't even come in until the 19th, maybe. Suffice it to say, I have not yet had the opportunity to finish our annual letter and snail mail it out. So I still have a little batch of those to do. I have started finally getting out everybody's quests for this month. So if you guys have been waiting on a quest, your quest will be coming very shortly here. I think I just started, one of them went into the mail today, and then I have some others that are lined up to go.
Well, the good news is there's only the 4th day of Christmas, so tomorrow's the 5 golden rings for Elven Kings, I think. And,
I was gonna say that at least somebody is not getting a bill for the first, mail of the year.
A bell?
A bill.
A bill. I mean, I don't get it. A bill? What do you mean a bill?
Are we talking to like a duck
It's
bill?
like junk mail. No, like
Oh.
like in the mail, like snail mail. Your bills
a
come
bill.
in the mail.
I
Yeah.
see. I was with Amanita. Like, did you mean a duck bill? What kind of a bill?
No,
is
I was
a duck?
not talking
with
about
Amanita.
fowl
That's
for
where my
once.
head went too.
Obviously.
It's not after 8:30. I can't talk about cocks yet.
Yeah, Flora
Nick
the
just
chick
came
mom.
in at the most interesting time.
I did. I came in at the best time. Do go on.
He loves them.
Never mind.
We have
I'm not
summoned
even
the
gonna say
Finnick.
all of
Hey,
this
it's
in my
8:30
head.
somewhere.
Look, it's an Amanita. Ah!
I know. Amanita, I think, is going to give out a try joining us here going forward this year into next year. So I'm actually kind of excited. So I do have our year in review video that I am going to put on here in just a second. But I'm also excited for next year because I'm going to hopefully redo our channel intro. I'm looking at getting that done and then getting us our new FAE News splash. I have an idea for that. So I'm excited about that. And I don't know, just, as you do, refresh things for the new year. So, are you guys ready for the year in review?
I am.
All right.
Yes.
Let's see. Let me find my.
I mean, technically, I've seen it,
So
but
it's about 4
The
minutes
ending is
long.
the
I
best,
just want
just
you guys
saying.
to know that I worked on this effectively since about noon. So over 6 hours of work has basically condensed into about 4 minutes of video. But oh my goodness, and I didn't even get all of the things. We did so many things this last year. I am shocked and amazed. Let's see here. Share audio. Yeah. Okay. So you guys can see. Yes. All right. No. Where did it go? There it is. Okay. Yeah. Remember that thing?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Your faces.
Well, Amanita, you seem to be a little bit more red after seeing yourself do the photosynthesis dance. The mushroom dance.
It was multiple pictures. Yes, I was like, oh gosh, there I am. I can't even remember those days, but there I am.
Okay. So yeah, that was this last year. I'll tell you, putting that together, I was like, okay, where do we start the year? And then my brain had to go like in the way back brain machine, and it was kind of hard to. I was like, oh man, so many things have happened this year. I don't even know if I can remember that far back. And we're getting ready to start 2023 with a bang. So that it will be exciting.
Good old in bulk fairy light over at Grey Wolf Lodge coming right up, right?
What was your favorite moment of 2023, Ion?
I don't. Wait, hold on. 2023. We're not there yet.
I want you guys. Sorry, I'm so excited for next year. Can't you tell?
Future time traveling leprechaun.
He was so confused.
And look, as you guys all know, me and time, we're not friends. We don't get along well. I already think it's next year. All right, Ion, favorite moment of 2022.
Well, I think that perhaps the coolest thing was rescuing of High King Finvara with the door, and the runes being put in to open it, and all the people there guarding to make sure that would happen safely. It was one of the coolest things.
All right. What about you, Amanita? What was your favorite part of the year?
That's so hard because I have two favorite parts. My favorite was both my favorites. One being Apple Bash, where we did the trade circle.
Ah, yeah.
And then the second would be Fae Giving, where I got confused between both pickles, the sweet pickles and the dill pickles. So basically, those were my favorite moments.
Phoenix, what about you?
So what you're saying is it wasn't Baby Bell margaritas.
First of all,
they're up there with the gingerbread licorice and the
Clamones.
and the taco truck jelly bellies. Oh, those were disgusting.
Those would sound terrifying.
Bellies.
They were disgusting. It was a guacamole flavor, salsa flavor. The only good one was the horchata. Like nobody wanted taco flavored jelly bean. Like
it just sounds wrong. There's just some things that should never mix. My favorite though would definitely have to be Mini Kakashi when we were over in Montana and we found our opening for the spear when we went to our fire gate, our southern fire gate. That was probably a wonderful time this year for me.
Yeah, I'm excited for this next year too. Woohoo!
Oh, so many big things. Oh,
I know. I'm ready to go out there again. Look out, Ms. Khan. Here we come. All right, what about you, Laura?
My birthday, my bloom day when we went to Winlock, that had to be one of my favorites. And the fact that I completely crashed at Apple Bash and did not get to enjoy anything.
That was your favorite part of the year?
It cracks me up because I can't believe that I missed out on so much.
Your favorite part of the year was that time I was there, but wasn't really.
Exactly.
Oh, man. Okay.
Sounds like when my land dragon didn't quite make it over to Fairy Blossom.
Oh, my gosh. You are a land dragon. So many issues. What the heck?
And then right after our MizCon adventure too, so
I
let's
know.
everyone right now send all your good fairy magic my way for February for Fairy Light, because I definitely want to make sure I make it this time.
I
Yeah,
know.
there we go. I'm gonna need a
Now
nanu
keep-
nanu fingers. Nanu nanu.
I'm sending the mushroom magic.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm glad to learn what mushroom magic looks like.
I mean, it's got to be somewhat like.
It's releasing the spores.
Is that what that is?
Yes.
Release
Not
the
after
spores.
8:30.
Is that spore fingers?
Balls.
Spore fingers.
Amanita, if you ever want to play an evil villain character on like a really, really old timey B movie, let me know, and I'll just like get you a nice, really black outfit. And you can be like, release the spores.
Oh no, that is excellent.
Oh no.
So
Someone's gonna take that idea and make it, please.
so yeah, I guess our next thing that we have tonight is a drawing. We've had a couple of weeks for everybody to get their entries in for Joshua Griffith, who was our author from not last week, but the week before, because last week was our winter solstice stream. So from the week before, and the magic word was abomination. And I was going to say something else. And oh, yes, Joshua is actually going to be one of our author guests at Fairy Light Convention in February. So looking forward to that. And if you guys have any of his books, you can get them signed there. So that will be very cool. But with that said, I suppose I should pull up the Wheel of Win. And
This Wheel of Win sounds fantastic, Lolly. How might one enter to be on this said Wheel of Win?
well, I will tell you how we enter to be on the Wheel of Win after we listen to our author for this evening.
But
Yes. Here we are. Everybody's names. All of our Patreon patrons. We got our first coffee patron actually this last month. All of our YouTube patrons. Yeah. So everybody, here we go. And this is for, are we supposed to be doing 2 drawings tonight? I feel like we were supposed to do 2, but I can't be certain. So I'm going to do 2 just in case, because I can't remember.
Unless you decided when I was not on the show.
quick, our viewers
far as
who
I
may
know, it
have
was only
better
one.
memory than those on the show, go ahead and post in the chat if you recall if we do or not have 2 wheels going tonight.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I totally don't remember whether or not we were supposed to do 1 or 2. So we're going to do 2 just in case, but I should say, oh my gosh, no way. Fairness, Neil, you.
Perfect. The person who's not supposed to be on the list wins
Right.
first. So
Yeah, but
automatically the
technically she's
second
not
person
on
will
the
get the
show
better
tonight.
deal.
Let's try this again. There we go. Congratulations. You are the winner. And
Crazy diamond, baby.
yes,
Sorry, I had to.
we're going to have a runner-up just in case. So let's take this name off and... So we will find out from our author whether or not we were supposed to do 1 or 2. And if we were supposed to do 2, you will be our second winner for the evening. So congratulations to you guys on getting a copy of the book. And let's see. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're like rolling right along this evening, I guess, for starting late. I feel like I'm uncharacteristically on
schedule.
On task.
You're on a roll.
It's time to go solo. Let's see. So I see our author down there in the wings. Let me bring them in. Hello and good evening.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Ooh, we can hear you perfect, actually.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so thank you for coming on the show. I like how your whole background is blurred out. Is that some cool effect that you have?
I don't know how that happened. I just signed into, I don't use StreamYard that much, and it just happened. So,
oh, it makes it like nice to be able to just focus on you, right? So, but still sort of see that there's something there. So that's very cool. Well, please, if you will, introduce yourself to everybody on our show and tell us who you are and what you write.
Sounds good. Thanks again for having me. My name is KC Grifant, and I'm an author based in Southern California. I write horror, fantasy, science fiction, and Weird West stories. I've had dozens of short stories published in podcasts, anthologies, and magazines. And my debut novel will be coming out in February, and that's what I'll be reading from today. And a little bit about that. It's called Melinda West, Monster Gunslinger. And it's a fantasy horror adventure set in the Old West. And this is the genre that some people refer to as Weird West, when it's the Old West with some sort of supernatural or kind of cross-genre aspect to it. And this particular story takes place in an alternate history where monsters poured into the region. And Bonnie and Clyde-like duo kind of roam the land to offer their exterminating services. But when this couple, Melinda and Lance, accidentally release a demon that steals souls, they get caught in a supernatural war. And it's going to be published in February by Bridget's Gate Press.
Release the demon. I feel a little sad though. They're just complete monster slayers. What about the monsters?
The misunderstood monsters?
Yeah, the misunderstood monsters.
There's actually, aspects of that in the book. The gunslinger feels guilty sometimes, but also some of the monsters are sort of brutal. So that is something she wrestles with throughout.
Pick on people your own size, monsters. So I'm going to go ahead because I know that you're prepared to read for about 20 minutes here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you really quick. Let me just get everybody situated out there in the audience, you guys. We're going to turn the screen over to KC, and then while they're reading, you guys, if you have questions for the author, please put them into the comments. And when we're done listening, then we will ask those questions live on the show. And I think with that said, we can just get right into it. Are you ready to read?
Yeah, sounds good. And I think I'm good for 20. If it starts to go a little long, let me know. And
No, it'll be okay. Nobody's gonna pumpkin here if it goes over. So, all right, then we will turn the screen over to you, and it is all yours to read.
Okay, thanks. All right, chapter 1. Melinda never missed, not in her 29 years on this earth. But then again, she never dealt with giants flying scorpions before. She aimed at the two shapes above a cactus several hundred feet away, fired, and watched as one of the bodies dropped. Aside from being bigger than any insect on this earth ought to be, the scorpion's 6 back legs were webbed, giving them the oh-so-handy ability to become airborne. A calf-sized one flew through the air with its green-tipped tail poised directly towards her head. She slid behind a toppled boulder, dust whipping up and stinging her eyes as the scorpion soared past, pincers outstretched. Its back legs brushed the tip of her wide-brimmed hat, caught a draft, and swept back toward her like a giant leaf in the wind. 4 sets of white eyes alongside its orange head fixed on Melinda as it came back around. She sucked in a breath and fired her pistol again, praying the wind wouldn't shift. The bullet tore through the insect's shell, ripping open its soft insides. Its chitin shattered like it was made of fine china. Bright green goo splattered on the cacti and rocks around her. "These bugs ain't joking," Lance huffed as he crouched next to Melinda, his brown hat askew. The grooves along his mouth deepened as he rooted in his knapsack for a weapon, the blondish stubble on his chin dark with dust. "Never seen this many air scorpions before in one place, except in pictures. Looks like their guts will sting something awful." "Poisonous, no doubt," Melinda said. "Aunt Beatrice sure would love a sample. Bullets?" Almost out, Lance hoisted his rifle. Bombs? She asked. Just the one, Lance said, as they both peered over the edge of the hill at the sharp drop leading to the mine. Hundreds of the orange and beige insects scuttled out of the mine entrance, agitated, it seemed, by Melinda and Lance's presence. The gash in the side of the hill was flanked by a steep rise in the earth around it, creating a bowl into which the scorpions poured. One of the creatures lifted its webbed legs to catch a gust of wind blowing toward them. Before it could take flight, Lance's shot rang out, exploding the bug into green goo. The rest of the scorpions in the pile chittered and clanked their pincers. Though they'd seen plenty of odd creatures in their line of work, this sound was one Melinda was sure would haunt her dreams. We shouldn't have used all the bombs up in Old Rivers, Melinda said, and tucked a dark strand of hair back into her hat as Lance passed her the tacky bomb, one of Abel's inventions. It did a pretty good number on those fire kettle, though, Lance said, splattered their guts like fireworks. Want me to toss it? Who has better aim? Melinda responded. Lance chuckled and handed her the air-pressured blaster in the shape of a clunky gun. She set about the tedious process of loading it with the tacky bomb, a trap of hammered metal housing a custom explosive. Hooves thundered behind them. The local sheriff who had summoned them, named Gaston or Gary or something like that, Melinda couldn't remember, scrambled off his horse. He stared aghast at the mine, his badge flashing like a beacon in the morning sun. What do we do? The sheriff shouted, his eyes wide as his Mustang spots. He peered at the pit. Lordy help us. We got to evacuate. We're ruined. I told that Carson not to blow a hole in this godforsaken land. Couldn't wait for his hermit of an uncle to die so he could start mining. Damn it, Carson. Easy, partner, Lance said. We've dealt with bigger bads than this, believe it or not. Any bug can be squashed, and we're the ones to do it. What did they want? The sheriff wiped his forehead before replacing his hat. Sometimes critters get it in their heads to look for greener pastures, Lance said, so they wander from the edge. We don't know much about that here, the sheriff sniffed. Melinda understood. Some folks didn't want to say the edge out loud from superstition. They did the best they could to ignore that no man's land of monsters nestled in the northern mountains. Even so, plenty of creatures swarmed out from the edge, taking up residence in the pockets of hills or lakes, or wherever they could find food. But never this far south. First time we've seen critters this big, way out in the dustlands, Melinda said. You got any idea why they ventured so far, or how? Something disturbed them, maybe, Lance mused. Don't matter none, the sheriff huffed. We'll teach them. He reached towards his saddle and yanked out a mallet the size of the horse's leg. Mighty fine-looking hammer, but wouldn't do that, Lance said. Their blood's got a sting. The sheriff moaned, they're coming out. Melinda turned her sights back on the pit of squirming scorpions, more of which poured out of the entrance. She breathed. The tiny muscles around her eyes relaxed. She fired the blaster, sending the tacky bomb soaring through the air. It stuck along the top of the wooden frame of the mining entrance. She pulled out her rifle and steadied, putting the explosives in her sights. The mix of Abel's unique concoction of compressed gunpowder cake and one of his experimental potions would make the tacky bomb consume everything, natural or unnatural, in its path. So long, suckers, she thought, you picked the wrong place to nest. Hurry, the sheriff said as a fresh wave of scorpions crawled out of the mining entrance. A few lifted themselves up as the wind picked up again. What are you waiting for? He asked. One thing, Melinda said. Got our payment? But they're about to swarm, the sheriff sputtered. Let's see it, she said without moving. What in Lord's name is she waiting for? The sheriff shouted. I'll do it myself. Lance spat out a small glob of tobacco. Most people can't make that shot there. Surprised if I could, Lance said. Your money's right here. The sheriff pulled out the envelope wrapped in twine. Melinda waited until she heard Lance rip it open and the sound of his satisfied breath. She took the shot. The pit went up in a fireball, as lovely a one as she had ever seen, painting the early desert sky reds and oranges against the crystal-hard blue. The trio clapped their hands to their ears as the explosion shook the ground, and the wooden frame around the cave entrance crashed down. You make all your clients sweat like this? The sheriff demanded, taking out a handkerchief to wipe his forehead under his hat. We try not to take jobs without payment up front, Lance said, tucking the envelope inside his duster. Keeps us from making any business mistakes. Some folks will try to stiff us after a job, Melinda added. The sheriff turned red and she tried not to laugh, the adrenaline from the explosion still racing through her veins. Who's going to clean this up? The sheriff surveyed the shattered bugs and green gore that stretched out below them. A few bodies in the pile of guts twitched. Lance scooped up a tiny bit of scorpion blood from a severed pincer into a vial. The sheriff knelt to examine it. Don't touch it, Lance capped the vial. In our experience, things like this can have a nasty bite even after death. Melinda set to wiping down the guns as Lance and the sheriff exchanged idle chatter. Lance liked to make friends wherever they went, and a moment later, the two men shared a flask. While they talked, something caught Melinda's eye at the entrance of the mine, among the bug guts and fluttering legs. A little flash, like a piece of gold. She grabbed a gunpowder stick and a handful of bullets from their bag. Be right back, she said, and started to climb the few feet down to the pit. Lance glanced over. See something? Maybe nothing, she replied. Lance resumed his talk with the sheriff, but Melinda knew he'd have one ear and one eye on her should anything arise. That was what made them good at what they did, and good together. They never let their guard down, and always had each other's backs. It was why Abel loaned them his one-of-a-kind devices and trusted them to bring back samples to study. She unhooked one of those custom devices now, a magnetic heat tracker infused with the blood of a rare gold-heart hummingbird. Magnets clustered in tiny blobs on the glass indicated the bodies around her and were packaged neatly into an old pocket watch case. It showed two blobs behind her for Lance and the sheriff, and one smaller blob directly ahead. The material behind the glass, cracked from when Lance had dropped it during an encounter with the mutant cougar, flashed from gray to white. Never seen that before, Melinda muttered to herself. Something was still in the mine. She shoved aside the flaps of her duster to climb down the last rock. Her boots crunched on the orange chitin, squishing the arachnoid body segments underfoot. A sharp, almost curdled milk smell, along with metallic dirt, made her lip curl, and she fought back a mix of awe, repulsion, and the tiniest smidge of regret. Why couldn't the edge creatures stay in their lands and leave humans alone? In a lot of ways, the edge creatures were like other animals, trying to make a home, reproduce, survive. Doesn't mean I have to feel sorry for ant swarms when they flood the stock or hornet nests set on attacking, she reminded herself as she wiped her boot against a rock to get a smudge of green goo off. If it's me or them, it's no contest. Something flashed again a few feet ahead, in a small opening between fallen wood and boulders of the caved-in entrance. She squeezed into the space, straightened in the tunnel, and made her way closer to the spark's source. It was a smooth bit of stone, silver as the moon and the size of a fingernail, partially embedded in the otherwise gray bands of rock. I don't know what you are, she said, as she pulled out a thin rod of iron from her belt pack. But if you're setting off Abel's watch like this, you might be valuable. Come on. She used the rod to pry at the stone. No way to tell how big it was, but surely she could chip a piece off. A few rats scuttled in the darkness, their blue fluorescent noses flashing as they chattered to each other in a language too high-pitched for Melinda to make out. A striped centipede the size of a pig slivered above her and she jumped, waiting until it was safely out of reach. Both edge species were harmless, but who knew what else had found its way into the cave? Another jab and the stone nugget came out easily onto her hand, about the size of an acorn. As soon as it touched her skin, a wave of vertigo hit, and her fingers went numb. A sound, shuffles or whispers, tickled the edge of her hearing. She pulled off the handkerchief from her neck and wrapped it around the stone. The sounds faded. A hiss and clicking to her left made her freeze. Out of the corner of her eye, the tracker flashed. She turned her head an inch. 6 white eyes stared back at her in the gloom. shining with the bit of sunlight that had found its way into the tunnel. The shadow of a scorpion twice as large as Melinda rose on its back legs. Melinda ready to jump at the first sign of its tail stinger or pincer moving, but the giant scorpion held still, hissing all the while, and in a moment she saw why. Along its stomach, dozens of translucent eggs were piled onto one another, just barely lit by their own pale green glow, and covered by a single membrane stretching across its belly. More tiny tails than she cared to count flicked in the eggs. "Find something, love?" Lance called down. "Nothing a boomstick can't handle," she said back steadily. "I got it." She planted the gunpowder stick in the dust and lit the fuse, all too aware of the 6 eyes fixed on her. The mama scorpion's grasper clicked warningly. "See ya," Melinda said, and slowly backed out. She hurried past the piles of carcasses again and ducked behind an outcropping as half the mine blew open. Once the rock and dust stopped raining down, she scanned the remains of the entrance. The mama scorpion was obliterated. Tiny pang nagged at her, but mama or not, edge monsters couldn't just settle wherever they pleased. A plume of red smoke rose from the broken mine entrance, hanging in the air for a second before fading. Maybe something in the scorpion's toxin reacted with the gunpowder. She checked her tracker to be sure. It wasn't showing the blob anymore, but it still flashed white. Must be busted. She tapped it and made a mental note to have Abel take a look. "All set," she said as she climbed back up. "You going to charge me for that too?" the sheriff asked. "You want more of those creatures coming?" Lance said and tapped the side of his head. "Melly and me have a sense better than a bloodhound for the strange. Half the time you're only seeing the first wave." "First wave," the sheriff paled. "Consider this a complimentary add-on," Lance said. "We do a thorough job." He handed the flask back to the sheriff. "I'd say tell your friends, but you have the honor of being our last gig." He and Melinda tipped their hats and started towards their horses, tied half a mile off. She brushed her hands off on her duster, trying to shake the feeling that something was behind her. Normally, she didn't mind whatever creatures they encountered, but the sight of that scorpion belly with all those eggs left her stomach doing flip-flops. "That mama scorpion was a big one," she said, "and something else. It was like a monster shindig in there, like they were drawn to the cave somehow." "Doesn't matter much now anyway," Lance said, chipper than a jaybird, "seeing as how we're officially retired." She fished in her pocket to pull out her handkerchief. There was something else down there too, some kind of stone, rare maybe. She pulled back the cloth to show Lance the rock, whose silver and purplish milkiness looked like frozen clouds at twilight. He squinted at it. "Looks a little like moonstone, a little like amethyst. I've never seen one like that before." "Gives off a weird feeling if you touch it," she said. "You think they'd like it back home?" "Sure," Lance said. "Abel and Beatrice love anything odd." He considered, a little grin tugging his mouth upwards. Waged 10 pieces they moved in together by now. She shook her head. "They're about as happy a spinster and bachelor as I've ever seen. Can't wait for some of their home cooking." Her stomach nearly rumbled at the thought. One more day of dried jerky and then a real meal, she told herself. Pepper strained her white and black speckled neck for the furthest grass she could reach, while Mud lifted his head in greeting. Melinda patted his dappled brown nose. "Tell you what, let's wager double or nothing," she said while they saddled up. Lance finished packing the payment into one of the saddlebags. "Double then. Call me a sucker for love." "Seeing as how I won the last half dozen wagers, a sucker for losing is more like it," she said. He laughed as they set off at a trot. "Melly, what would we do without each other?" "You'd be just fine," she said. "Me, on the other hand, I'd probably end up a recluse." He groaned. "It's true," she said. "People expect a certain thing. This gunslinging, monster-hunting life is something most wouldn't understand." Lance tapped the bag of cash below his left leg. "Hard to believe we're finally cashing out." "So we can be dull old ranchers," she replied. "Sure as a gun, I won't miss being covered in bug entrails," he said. "Pshaw," she laughed. "You're going to miss this roamer's life just as soon as we set roots." "And you're going to wonder why we didn't retire sooner," he said. His grin broadened, and she couldn't help but smile too. Their plan had worked well, rounding out a 300-mile loop to offer their services, helping towns and settlements take care of more unusual problems. Plenty of the villages spoke languages she'd never heard of or dialects she could barely make out. One thing was always unmistakable, though, and that was the word for monsters, whether uttered with fear, fascination, hatred, or grief. They'd seen more in the last year than most saw in a lifetime. It's been fun, especially when we do good work and the town's grateful, Lance said, and she nodded. They had saved a few lives at least during their adventures. But it'd be nice to start something new, too. His eyes locked with hers, and her gut stirred like it did when they had first met. You are too charming for your own good, Lance. Well, thank you, Melinda. They nudged their horses to pick up the pace, and she tried to shake the uneasy feeling of the scorpions and the mine. It happened every time they took out a nest or infestation. Thoughts of the critters would haunt her for a night or two, then come back, mixed in with other dreams like leftover cold slaw. Something about the composition of the edge creatures, she figured, left more impressions in her mind and dreams than she'd like to admit. No need to think about it anymore, though. They were done. A heaviness seemed to slide away at the thought of never having to exterminate again, even though they had a knack for it and there were still plenty of critters left. A part of her whispered she could never really be done. There were always more monsters. Okay, I think that's the 20-minute mark.
Wow, that was very close to exact. All right, bring us back together here a little bit. Give me just 1 second.
Yep.
Yeah, there we are. Okay. Oh, Ion will be back. He got up to get me a cup of coffee really quick, like 2 seconds ago. Because once I'm locked into position, there's no getting up until we're all done with the show. So we do have some questions, and let me go ahead and get to some of those. Thank you so much for the reading. Scrolling back. Let's see. All right. So, number 1, what other authors, films, shows, comics, etc. have inspired or influenced you the most?
That's a great question. I would say broadly, I've always enjoyed kind of the misunderstood superhero trope. So starting with X-Men, they were kind of my first like big passion. Buffy the Vampire Slayer was big as well. There's so many. It's hard to name them, but I'm trying to think of ones that really like stood with me and that I would love to kind of emulate that feeling of just, connecting with that fictional character.
So how did you actually get to writing this particular topic? Like, what made you choose this genre?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I was never that interested in like Westerns or the Old West time period necessarily until I started playing a card game called Doomtown, which draws from the Deadlands universe, which some people may be familiar with. And it was actually sort of a similar feeling as when I like discovered X-Men when I was younger, which was that, oh, here's a world where there's a lot of women characters, which X-Men as a kid growing up was the first place you saw, numerous women superheroes, not just the one token one. So
my favorite is Jean Grey.
Jean Grey is awesome. Storm, Rogue, I mean, they're all awesome, right? So playing Doomtown, there were a lot of female characters, gunslingers, magicians, kind of all of it. And it kind of inspired me to think, oh, what would, this kind of world look like in a fictional setting? Because typically when you think of Old West or any kind of weird Westerns, there's not a lot of women represented, or they're very stereotypical characters. So that's kind of what started it. And then from there, I wrote these two characters, Melinda and Lance, in several short stories, and people seemed to enjoy them. So then I tried a novel, and it was a lot of fun to write.
Just think, next year, in just a couple months, you'll be doing this live at bookstores.
Yep. As a debut author, it's very exciting to be able to share this story.
Let's see. Okay, so we've got. Did this idea start as a short story, or is it totally separate? I think you just kind of answered that one a little bit, but can you elaborate maybe?
Yeah, sure. So I've written a lot of short stories, and I actually wrote a few stories for the Doomtown card game, kind of the flavor for the cards. And that sort of kicked it off. Then I started creating my own characters. I've had Melinda and Lance had these kind of episodic adventures published in anthologies and magazines. And then once the pandemic hit, I had a lot of time at home to write. And I thought, let's just try making this kind of an epic adventure.
So you said you have other kind of side stories and published in anthologies of Melinda and Lance. Mm-hmm. And is there a place where you have collected a list of all of their appearances together? So if somebody wanted to read all the little pieces, they could go find them, go on a little like egg hunt and get them?
I do have them collected on my website, or at least referenced. I'm waiting to publish just a few more, and then I'll probably do a collection. And I do have a few upcoming next year as well. So yeah, I think it'd be fun to collect them all as kind of one piece.
Okay, let's see. Oh, this was one of my questions. I hope it's okay. Where do you get your inspiration for the monsters? Like all of the ideas for different creatures?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great question because I'm actually writing the sequel now. So I'm thinking of more monsters. And I would say initially it started kind of with my own fears. And I've always been a little afraid of bugs and very fascinated by bugs. So there's a lot of bugs and just kind of weird things and tweaks, whether it's the size or the intelligence. Then I started thinking about other phobias people have. Some people are afraid of birds, bats. I mean, it's a range, right? So I guess I try to go through all the animal groups and just put a twist on it as much as I can. And sometimes I dream about weird creatures and we'll draw from that. Or just reading about strange actual animals, right? Some of them have insane traits that are just like unbelievable, right? So kind of mixing and matching some of that also.
Which one of your creatures are you the most scared of personally?
Probably there's a kind of shadow spider creature later on in the book that's oversized and hard to fight. So probably that would be my own fear, but
just burn the house down if one of them appears.
For sure. Right.
This house is on fire.
I was thinking you need to have one of those books that has like the different flaps in it, so you can have like the head of this monster and the tail of this monster and just the monster creation manual. Let's see. Are you planning on having this become a series of novels, or will this be a standalone story?
So when I first wrote it, I wrote it as a standalone. So no cliffhangers, kind of a complete arc, but added in a few, I guess, aspects that could be drawn upon in other stories. And then as I finished it, I had ideas for the second and third and subsequent stories. So I'm writing a second, which is basically a sequel. But my goal is to be able to write them so you could theoretically read them out of order. It's not necessarily an arc, like a trilogy arc. But I can picture writing several of them, hopefully, if all works out.
Hopefully 2023 will be much better than 2022. Let's see here. We've got, do you offer your books in audio format?
That's a good question, actually. I need to ask my publisher. As of now, I don't think so, but hopefully I would love to. I think that would be great.
And let's see. Are any of your characters based off of people in your life people? Phoenix.
People in your life, people, yes. Yes, I wrote the wrong word, but you know what I'm trying to say there. That's it, Pop.
I don't need to read that out loud. Whatever. Just some words. Word salad.
If you throw 3 more peoples into that sentence, it works great.
People,
Trick is to figure out where.
Purple people eaters. People are people. Yes.
Play.
Any people are
All right. And so the answer is
The answer is not exactly, not really, but it's something I want to do a little more of, to be honest, because I think it's easy to get stuck in a mode with the same type of character. So I'm trying to draw a little more on characteristics of people I know, and I don't know, people are just very interesting with their mixes of sometimes contrary personality quirks. So to be able to capture that in fiction in a realistic way is a goal. I don't know that I've done it yet, but I'd like to.
it makes me think that you should offer, like you should auction off to people, or the idea of, do you have somebody that you need to divest yourself of? Well, I'll do it for you in this book. And then
Lolly, just to clarify, auctioning people off to other people is called slavery. Just so that you are aware.
No. Indentured servants, we'll call it that.
Oh, okay. I guess that's true. Yes. Yeah, as being a herald to a princess, I know all about that.
What?
Nothing. I didn't say anything wrong. I swear.
I have not enslaved you by any stretch of the imagination. What are you talking about? Yet? There's no yet.
Is that Ion's way of being like, run while you
Now
can?
you guys are gonna be, I might just start doing it, because if I'm gonna do the time, I may as well commit the crime, right? I'm just saying, be careful what you guys set yourself up for.
See Amanita over there. She's just like,
Innocent little poorling.
I'm just playing with my unicorns over here.
Is that what they're calling it now?
It is after 8:30.
Oh goodness! No,
Well,
look, an author.
I think that was actually the last of the questions, unless I missed any.
I just came up with one. If
Yeah, go
if
ahead.
you want another one.
By all
All right,
means.
so this would have been hard to write down anyway. So, what are the highlights of traditional Wild West media? Is the showdown that's similar to samurai films and shows. Do you have showdown scenes in your books involving the monsters and your characters? And if so, how do you build the tension in the written word like that?
Those are good questions. I'm trying to think of there's a lot of monsters and a lot of kind of fight scenes, but I don't think I have. Actually, that's not true. Okay, I would say the last scene, the last fight would be a showdown, right? It's the big bad. You fought all the other monsters to get to the final, the demon. So that definitely has that kind of showdown feel. But aside from that, I don't think there are necessarily like the traditional Western showdown feeling to it. That is something I will probably play with in a subsequent story. Because one thing I like to do also is take these aspects of the Wild West, the Old West, and use them, remix them, see how they could be kind of fresh in the setting. So yes, that's the first part. And remind me of the second question.
A lot of what makes those scenes highlight in those films is the tension that they're able to build for those showdowns, and even after, with the villain often taking some time before falling. I was wondering how you were going to generate the tension in the written word that way.
Yeah, that's a good question, and kind of I think fundamental to a lot of storytelling and novel writing, which I really had to learn through this book, which is, yes, exactly that. How do you keep the tension escalating? And really it's about the characters and what is the worst possible thing that can happen. and then happen again, and then happen again. With these beats where it's not like so stressful right off the bat, but there's enough kind of disastrous things happening that you start to worry about them and worry for them. So that took, kind of potting, and one potting method I like is called the snowflake method, which basically you come up with, I think he calls it 3 disasters and an ending. So it's very useful. You kind of figure out your 3 big disasters, and from there kind of snowflake out the smaller disasters that lead up to it. And I found that very helpful because it's not such a detailed outline where you might get bogged down, but it gives you something so you don't get lost kind of in the writing process. So I recommend that approach for writing.
I like the name of that method because it sounds so pretty. It makes me think of the way that when you see frost, when you see the lapsed videos and it like spreads on a window or something, it makes me think of that in my head.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have one last question before we hear what our giveaway is going to be for this week. But my question is, since you told us the monster you are most scared of, what's the monster that you like the best that you have created?
Ooh, that's a good one too. There's so many monsters. I actually had to track them in a different spreadsheet, which I'm calling my like almanac of monsters. So I'm just mentally running through that list. But there's one I like later on in the story, which is a snow kraken that kind of lives under the ice in this snowy setting, which ends up pulling out these tentacles and grabbing its food and bringing it down to this kind of ice fortress. That one's pretty fun.
That's cool.
Thank goodness those aren't real. That sounds terrifying.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Like,
Release the Krakenlynch.
Maybe the snow kraken is the reason that there are huge portions of Antarctica sliding off into the ocean.
I like that.
Thanks, Ollie. New fear unlocked.
That's why I'm here. Just keeping it real. Hey, I see Account Morbid in the audience.
Morbid's being too real too.
All right. So then that brings us
you mean
to the
like
giveaway
organism
time.
46-B?
It needs a Latin name. Monstrous Krakenus.
I mean, we could probably just put that all into Latin right there.
I mean, maybe you can. I'd have to look it up, though.
Oh, no, I'd have to look it up, too, but...
All right. This week's giveaway is... Oh, for all of you guys out there in the audience, this is also your cue to start giving us suggestions for this week's magic word. This is your cue, KC, to tell us what we shall be getting this week.
Okay, yeah. So I don't have print copies of the book, but I do have digital copies. So EPUB or PDF.
Of this book?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's going to be like a pre-release.
Exactly. It's an art copy, advanced reader copies. So, close to final. There might be some small formatting things, but should be close to final.
I like it. A little sneak preview almost 2 months before its actual published date. Let's see here then. All right, you guys. Now, you get to choose what our final magic word will be. So I'm looking for the top of the list. And Ion, yes, start the timer. Let's see. All right. Magic word suggestions. Snow kraken. No. What? Morbid. No. We're no.
Butt kraken. Just because I had to say it. Butt kraken.
All right. Flying scorpions. I think you should read all of them, Phoenix. It's
Flying scorpions.
Ready? Here we go.
Oh gosh, that's a lot of okay. Ice kraken. Oh, do you want me to go on the list there? Can I just read off the phone? my beautiful magic mirror. So, flying scorpions, ice kraken, shadow spotters, snow kraken, snow terror, kraken,
Slower,
like this one, kraken lacken,
slower.
kraken lacken. That's great. Monsters of dusk. Crack a book. Oh, I like that one. That's good. Crack a book. Going faster. Hold on. I'll just wait for you to pop them up there on the screen. It's okay. Don't be cracking.
No, don't do Kraken.
Oh, don't do. Sorry, I don't have. I have the other glasses on right now. Let me go into old man zone. Hold on. There we go. Now I can see.
Your magic mirror is blocking your face.
That's part of the point too. Yes.
Well, I think it's supposed to be Weird Wild West.
Weird West, Weird Wild West. Yep, he Cobble redoes it there at the bottom there.
Let's see.
Kraken Abraken. Organism 46-B. Crack a scorpion. Burma? Well, sure, we'll go with Burma.
Let's
Stinging things. Kraken is whacking. And of course, new fears.
Fenix,
That's
is that
what
for
a lot of these
Monster
books
versus
are.
Aliens?
What?
Organism 46-B.
No, actually, it's a creepypasta where apparently Vladimir Putin and a bunch of Russians found an octopus-like creature under a frozen lake in Antarctica, and that this thing has the ability to spread out a jetty ink that produces a neurotoxin in your body, and just like a lot of the other octopi in our oceans, can mimic and shapeshift its body a little bit to be something different, and was mimicking to pretend to be a human diver to make those divers swim closer and then attack them.
A simple no would have
Supposedly, again, creepypasta conspiracy theory. So,
what is creepypasta?
So creepypasta is a website
we have things
in
to
which
teach
people
you,
can learn about newfound urban legends. For example, Slenderman was found there.
look,
Slenderman.
author.
The SCP-2895 is also an appropriate one for this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Casey, you are the final arbiter of what the magic word will be for this next week.
So many good ones. I like crack a book with the K.
I thought that was great too. Crack a book.
Yes.
Let's
Oh,
see.
was that yours, Amanita? It was, yes. Crack a book.
All right, then. That is the magic word for this week. And let me get that into a little ticker for you guys. So the way that you can get your entries here, let's see, it was crack a book. Yeah. All right. You can join our Patreon or our YouTube channel to get 2 possible entries. And then, of course, to get your third and free entry after the show, you will go to the comments section here on the YouTubes, not on Twitch, not on Facebook, only on YouTube, and put crack a book into the comment section after the show, and that will give you your free entry. So I just want to remind you guys as well, because this week, we have 28, 29, 30, 3 more days until the end of the month, and to get the total dross count up to 200. So is a good time to get the extra entries in as well, so that you guys can get the advanced copy, what did you call it? The ARC copy, the advanced readers copy or something like that. Yeah. Of Casey's book. So I think with all of that said, is there anything you would like to tell us before you leave tonight, Casey?
Just thank you so much for having me. It's been fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for sharing with us.
Yeah, definitely.
So happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yep. Happy New Year's. All right.
Oh, weird.
What?
Huh?
What did you say,
Yeah.
Flora?
What did
Nothing.
you say, chicken lady?
Nothing at all.
We were called weird, but that's okay. Just so you know, Amanita, we keep score, so the those of us that win the choice for what the magic word is, we keep track. You get bonus points.
No, we don't.
You get bonus points if it keeps coming up week to week. For example, butt salt keeps coming up, which wins somebody a lot of extra points. And it's not
Is this a new game? Ion
See, and this
keeps
is
making
why
it
I
up,
know
like,
that I'm indentured servitude, because nobody ever told me about this rule. And I've been on the show
I know
longer,
about this
so
rule.
yeah, see, that's my point. Indentured servitude. Right
don't be
there.
ridiculous. I don't pay you, Phoenix.
That's why it's indentured. I don't get no money. I had to buy these threads myself. Just so everyone knows. At least I'm popping fresh. It's okay.
Oh no. I don't like this whole angle at all. You know what?
It's okay. Members of the audience are also on the board. Cobble's way up there, as a matter of fact. So,
yeah, you know what? I'm gonna get to
I'm
some
still
whip
winning.
cracking if you don't knock it off.
With that one bundle of sticks that you showed me in that one picture? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Bundle. Oh yeah, that was my Crumpus. Yeah.
Your
I did-
Crumpus Smackus?
It was.
See, that's close
actually-
enough to Latin.
Actually, Crumpus's little bundle of birch whatevers. I raided Crumpus's chair. I mean,
That's
he
his
was,
his birch basher.
what? Yes. Let's see. Yes. So now is the part of the show where we normally would go on to do the news articles. So I'm gonna let you guys quick talk amongst yourselves. Yes, what Morbid said right there.
Yes, don't distract me with your talking, but distract everybody else with your talking. Why are you distracting me? This sounds correct, yes.
Right. So the trick is to be just a little bit interesting, but not enough to distract Wally. Yes.
Exactly.
All right, Amanita.
Which is why Amanita, tell us about that scary pasta.
It's your creepy pasta.
Wait. No, not creepy pasta. It's an SCP. SCP-2895. I don't know if anybody knows what SCPs are, but the SCP Foundation is like this whole organization of like scary class monsters that someone made up. It's called Secure, Contain, and Protect. And they have so many SCPs that I'm not even done reading them, and I've read like hundreds of SCPs, but there's over like 9,000 of them. No pun intended.
9,000.
No pun intended.
Did you see that they released the 3-book collection?
I did not.
Mm-hmm.
Of SCPs?
Yeah, they have actual like hardcover copies. Pretty cool.
I didn't even know they were at that point yet, but that makes me super happy for them because I love the SCP Foundation. Specifically, why I was saying 2895 was in relation to the flying scorpions is because it is an arachnid wildlife containment unit in Area 12's Arachnid Wing. It is a flying scorpion. And it is Euclid class, which means they are murderous. It's the best way I can explain it. Finnick,
This classification wants to eat your face off.
Exactly. Do you have a favorite
Class
SCP, Finnick?
Euclid class is in not Lovecraftian. Is that what that means?
Not sure. It's just scary face eating stuff.
I would say the one that is my favorite, and I can't remember exactly which one it is, but it's the one where it's a statue. And if you look away from it, it moves towards you.
It's like
and then when you turn around, it's moving closer and
Those
closer.
are the angels from Dr.
Who? Yes.
Oh, you're talking about 173. It looks like a baby, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, it's got like I think I can show pictures, methinks. Of let's see, window.
Hey guys, when you're done talking about that monster, you should answer Ingvi's question.
We got this one.
Are you trying to share something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's the second one? Krampus or? Yep.
Gorilla.
Let's go with Krampus.
I don't know how that would be your favorite. That's creepy.
No, it's not my favorite. It's just the creepiest one. So I enjoy the story of like I would never want to like see this thing and then start walking and hear something behind me and turn around and it's closer.
What
I'd be like,
that,
nope,
what is
you
that
need to
thing's
die.
head? So I don't know if I think Krampus or Gorilla is more scary, because technically Gorilla is like the mother of all the Yule lads and also has a husband that's like a big scary thing. So,
but Ingve didn't say Gorilla and all their crew. Just said Gorilla. In which case, I'm going with Krampus. But
And
if
then
it's the
you
whole-
have SCP-999, which is just this adorable little blob.
what is this?
Yes, not all of them are horrible.
Yeah, I think this is a friendly one, and it like makes you giggle and stuff. Yeah, it's object class safe. It's can't get any safer than that. I like Here Be Dragons. They're basically it's such a sad story, but they're basically these little origami dragons that are in a box to another world. But if you read the entire story, it gets darker and darker and just so much more depressing because they died and they're neutralized class because they no longer exist. So it's pretty sad. There's Salusar as well, who is my favorite over the Here Be Dragons. So I think that's SCP-179. Yeah, she's pretty. I've done a lot of artwork off of her. She's the sun's sister.
So Amanita, what's your input about Ingvi's question? Because between Krampus and Gorilla.
Do you know anything about Gorilla?
No.
Right.
Neither do I. That's why I went with Krampus. Go with the enemy you know.
Go with the evil you know.
Plus, as far as I know, he only
Can't-
takes
can't be
children,
scared of
so
him.
now that I'm grown up, I'm kind of
Right.
safe.
Can't be scared of monsters that you don't know anything about. Is that what you're saying?
Hold on, I'm reading about Gryla.
Oh,
right
no,
now.
no. It just means that since I'm ignorant as fuck to it, it can kill me and I would have no idea what's going on. I'm just like, it's gone. You're dead. Bye. I'm
A
Grella.
giantess
Well, okay.
with an appetite
Nice to
for
meet you.
flesh of mischievous children whom she cooks in a large pot. Her husband, I can't even pronounce that, is lazy and mostly stays at her home in their cave. And yeah, I'm gonna say Krampus is more scary than that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree, Krampus. And not only that, but since both of these things decide to go after children, I'm safe regardless. So.
Okay.
I don't know, you're a child at heart sometimes.
I was gonna say.
Oh, thank you. I do have childlike wonder still. Thank you.
Okay, here we go. We're gonna have a gingerbread competition. Let's see. Teens build an intricate gingerbread cathedral. Get out of writing an essay.
What?
Versus build your gingerbread house out of Pop-Tarts this year, and you could win $15,000. I mean, that one seems kind of past tense, but I don't know until we read it. So if you want to hear about how some kids got out of having to write an essay by building a gingerbread cathedral, press number 1. And if you want to hear about the Pop-Tart gingerbread house competition, press number 2. Ion, please start that timer. And
that's a hard one.
I'm gonna have to
right?
say I want to hear number one, just because if I ever decide to go back to college, I want to know how to get out of writing an essay.
I want to go with 2 because I like Pop-Tarts. I'm just a foodie. Pop-Tarts sound delicious right now, actually.
I'm just gonna say right now, I think an essay is probably easier to do than building a gingerbread cathedral.
Okay, I also just
That's
want to see a
legit.
gingerbread cathedral. But, yeah, like that just seems interesting. That and I'm like, I do feel like Lolly's right with the fact that this other one is probably past tense, and therefore means that that prize is no longer available, which means it's less likely that I would want to read that one. But that's just me.
Oh, wow.
Not like you're gonna rush out and buy a whole bunch. So, do you guys, while the timer is winding down here, do you guys want to hear what cool thing I learned this week? I remember when we talked about that castle in Monroe a few weeks ago that had the cool library and whatnot, and we looked at that on the show. Do you guys remember that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we know, every one of us here, I think, well, I know that Flora, myself, and Ion personally know who purchased that castle and now owns it. And so
when is the housewarming party?
Right, just to remind you. So here it is. They've named it High Rock Castle. It's going to be a bed and breakfast. And it was recently announced by Crescent Moon Gifts.
Oh, Snapple.
Yep. I can't believe it. It is amazing. So how we actually could be able to go see this because they're making it into a bed and breakfast. So what if we all got together and did like,
I was just about to say it. Yep. Like, let's just do a bed and breakfast of everybody, all the crew.
That's what I'm trying to
A crew bed and breakfast. I'm down. Oh,
right?
Set a date. I'll take off the vacation time.
Yeah, right. I'm like, ooh. So we might have to look into whether or not we all want to go do a little Fae crew thing there, you guys, this year, and get the inside view of it. So, isn't that kind of exciting? Anyway, okay. So is our timer up, Ion? All right. What do we have here? Okay, so we've got. Let's see. I see one for 2 for 1. 3 for 2. Okay, I see 2 votes for 1 and 3 votes for 2. So.
And then changing to 1, so it's actually 3 votes for 1, 2 votes for 2.
I'm changing to 1 as well.
Oh,
Joshua changed his vote.
Okay.
Thank you, Joshua.
Then we will see here.
Sounds like one has it.
Amanita, we can't vote anymore.
No,
we don't have. Even though you were the one that said 2, you still voted 1. I love it.
You only get to vote. You only get to vote if there's a tie. That's the rules for people on this show. You're mad about that now. Over there, like, what? That's not fair.
I actually found the picture and posted the link to the kids who made that cathedral. So if they don't have the picture on the website, I found it.
Dang. That doesn't look like gingerbread. That looks like graham crackers.
It does.
Oh, that's right. I'm gonna.
Are you just mocking the essence of their cathedral?
I mean, so what if I am? All right, you guys. South Jordan, Utah. There's a place named South Jordan in Utah. 3 teens at, oh man, Bingham High School. I really thought for 2 seconds that said Brigham Young, and I was like, wait, what? I'm like, well, I guess is that why it looks like the Mormon Tabernacle? Anyway, 3 teens at Bingham High School made an especially festive gingerbread creation of towering proportions. I just want to eat it. When senior students Ethan Williams, Namoa Tukalongahau, and James Southworth were assigned to either, I hear somebody in the background. Where's their noise coming? Is that you, Amanita? Yep, sure is. Okay. Let's see. We're assigned to write a 3-page paper or create a gingerbread house. They chose who would not choose to create a gingerbread house in lieu of writing a paper. The giant cathedral was actually built for the teens' personal finance class? Who would want to write a finance paper or build a cathedral?
That's what I'm saying. Like, so I had to see what the odds were for this. I'm like, okay, how bad was the paper that you wanted to build a cookie house? And I'm like, okay, all right, this wins. This wins.
Yeah, for sure. Because writing a finance paper sounds boring. So, and I like to write. So Southworth said the teacher gave 3 options for the end of the semester: a large multiple choice test, a 3-page essay on how to start a mortgage.
3 pages, I'm in.
Or,
much easier than building a cathedral.
But not nearly as
But not as fun.
I would choose building the cathedral over doing an essay.
I love baking.
Exactly. It sounds more fun than writing an essay. I feel like I would like stress over all and every bill just because of the finance paper.
Although I will confess that if I had to choose between the multiple choice test and the 3-page essay, I would write the essay. Let's see. We're like, easy. We'll just go to Costco and pick up a little gingerbread, Southworth said. And then when he saw the requirements, we're like, oh no, we're making this big. All of the boys agreed that when they started, they had no idea it would turn out as big as it did. Obviously, everyone had the idea of making a gingerbread house, so we were like, let's do something big. So we're thinking like the Taj Mahal or the Russian cathedral, but Ethan had the idea. Last year, I was given the opportunity to go on an American Sign Language trip to Washington, D.C., and we got to visit the National Cathedral, and I just fell in love with it, with all the architecture and everything. And with that, the cathedral idea was born. Teacher just said, has to fit through the doorway and has to be mostly edible. As soon as we heard that, we were like, let's max this out. You know, as you do. Man,
as one does with gingerbread cathedrals, yes.
I just want to eat it, you guys. Maybe it's.
Do you think the teacher went all Great British Bake Off and like cut a chunk off and graded them on their baking skills?
And then
well, they went to Costco to get it, so it was definitely already prepackaged made stuff. So probably not the best taste.
Ramsay.
That is definitely not edible.
Okay. See,
they used glue.
Actual glue? Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Mostly
they did. The teacher did say mostly edible.
But what is mostly edible?
It means that there's only a small amount of glue gun in your food.
I am so disappointed in this gingerbread house.
They glued it on cardboard.
This is not a gingerbread house.
No, that's not cardboard. That's graham cracker sheets.
What?
This is a lie, is what it is.
See? Tell me those aren't graham crackers.
Those are definitely.
They do look like graham crackers.
It's a lie.
The entire thing is a facade. They have ruined it. The structural integrity is cardboard.
It's a faux gingerbread cathedral.
They built this in someone's kitchen first? How did they even get it out of there and into a...
It must be so heavy.
All this is proving to me that the essay is easier.
They did do it on cardboard
first.
Oh,
I knew it.
That is so disappointing.
That breaks my heart.
3 pages. You could knock that out in an afternoon.
Ew.
Okay, well, maybe the frosting is good. Oh, but they did use ice cream cone, like, waffle thingies for the little cathedral points.
Yeah, that does look good. Oh, and the little Christmas trees below are the Christmas, like, cupcake things, like ho-hos.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember what they're called.
I like how they use little gingerbread people to represent people.
I hate everything about this article.
Do you see that all the windows look like they're pretzels?
Oh, yeah, they do.
The windows are pretzels.
It's
okay.
Little Debbie's Christmas tree cakes.
It's all a lie.
I hate it.
The cake is a lie. Your gingerbread cathedral is too.
It's true.
It's
I want to eat gingerbread.
cardboard glue house.
Monstrosity. Speaking of monsters.
You know, my first thought is like those people that throw paint cans on someone's art project or throw paint on people that are wearing fur. I just see someone just splashing this with milk so they can just watch it all collapse on itself.
Wow. That's...
We are done with your cathedral.
Milk mixed with food coloring to make it look weird.
Yeah, diet red. Yeah.
Dang. Well, I'm not
It's
reading
not a
this
real
whole article.
gingerbread.
I'm pretty sure I don't actually need to read like a 3-page article about a gingerbread cathedral. Like, we could just look at the
Well,
It's
at
not
least
even made of
Where's
gingerbread.
the 3-page essay?
Plus it's 28 pages of the story behind gingerbread houses before getting to the recipe.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care
man.
what
I
project your
hate
kid
that
did. Just give me the
so
recipe.
much.
Just any recipe website. You're like, I don't care. Skip.
You're just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. It feels like you've aged 7 years just to scroll to the recipe.
Ooh, excuse me. I did not mean to cough all over you guys there.
Oh no,
Rude.
we've been topped upon.
All right, you guys.
The cathedrals are a lie.
Or like when you find an article that says something along the lines of, "Man gives anniversary present years later. Deep secret is revealed about it," and you know you're sitting there and you have to click next for every single page, and you're like, by the third page, you're like, I already know it's a damn ring. I just want to read the part where you know that there's a wedding ring and that he already gave it to her on year 1 of them dating, and that she's been having it around her necklace this entire time, not knowing it's inside the actual what do you call it? Amulet that he made her. It's like,
Pocket.
come on, just I know what it is. Just get to that point. I want to hear it.
Okay, are you guys ready?
Yes.
Mhm.
All right.
As long as it's not another lie.
Yeah.
Mommy.
It's
I no
not even a
promises.
gingerbread house.
Number 1, Mountain
I'm
Dews
so mad.
capture the holiday season in a bottle with Fruit Quake.
What?
I don't know, but it seems like a flavor of something that I
Lolly,
guess-
I'm just gonna let you know that is an offensive term.
You know what? Talk to the author of the article. I'm just reading the thing, okay? Don't shoot the messenger.
No hate speech on our show.
Versus Hellman's wants you to put mayo in your eggnog this holiday season.
Clamonaise, anyone?
Clamone.
Dude,
I'm pretty sure I could whip up a Clamonaise eggnog recipe. Bring it to
Hey, Morbid, you
Very late.
brought the articles this week. Like these are some good options. I mean, they're terrible, but also good. So, if you want to hear about holiday season in a bottle with Fruit Quake, press number 1. And if you want to hear about mayo in your eggnog, press number 2. Ion, please start the timer.
if you love me, do not do number 2. I can't have them ruin eggnog.
We have had enough mayonnaise related issues on this show. It is the end of 2022. Let's end it on a good note. Not another mayonnaise problem.
Listen, mayonnaise wasn't the problem. It was clams that were the problem.
You are 100% correct.
Hold on. You'd rather them go with the Fruit Quake, which might conceivably be something that she wants to go buy, and someone will give us money to go get.
Who even eats fruitcake? Fruitcake is like
No,
disgusting.
not fruitcake, fruit quake, which sounds even worse.
We basically have every dollar that Ingvi has sent us so far sitting in reserve for me to buy something for you guys to all taste. That's right. Put it in your mouth.
And so you're encouraging people to choose the one that might be something that she clicks on. To go buy.
You're right.
Have the
You're actually right.
gingerbread thing.
Yeah. Okay, you know what?
The gingerbread twizzlers.
Did you see us?
Is that what that was? That was a dry to the.
I
Like
got a
snapping a number 2 pencil. Just.
I got a video actually of somebody else that I also sent this to. If I can find it on Ye Old Book of Faces, I might play it for you guys in a minute. But their whole family tastes, and they're like crunching it because when it shipped in the mail, I guess it took long enough that it made it like not soft licorice anymore. So it was just like
in
very
the future,
crunchy.
we might want to put them in Ziploc baggies.
Yeah, no, because then it costs me a lot of extra money. It goes from being $1.20 to ship to like $4.80 to ship. So
To put it in a Ziploc bag?
yes, because it can't go in a regular envelope, so it has to go in a package. And as soon as it goes into a puffy little package, the price goes.
I usually get the sandwich bags that don't have the little zippy zips on them
I mean,
and put them in regular because it's softer than the zip ones. And I can actually fit them in envelopes.
you mean you've done this before?
Yes.
Why?
I have a best friend named Taryn
So-
who lives in Kansas, and we mail each other weird stuff. I've gotten to eat crickets and tarantulas and stuff like
You
that.
ate a tarantula?
Yes, it was very fuzzy and not tasty.
I would love to try that. That's so weird. I would absolutely try a tarantula.
Timer ran out.
Yeah, but we're
No.
talking about weird things to eat. It's amazing. But I don't know who your friend is, but now we need to like somehow get all of that connected. They need to send us weird things to eat.
I will talk to her and we'll see.
Okay, let's see. Going up here, we've got 1 vote for 2, 2 votes for 2, 1 vote for 1, 2 votes for 1, 3 votes for 2. All right, so number 2 is the mayo in the eggnog.
Why you guys do this to us? Why you gotta do this to us? Why you gotta do us wrong?
My heart hurts now.
I'm just saying this vote preserves us from having to buy Fruit Quake.
Oh look, I need to go grab more water.
I'm gonna look at the fruit cake one anyway. Don't you get too excited there, Ion. All right. Hellman's wants you to put mayo in your eggnog this holiday season and then drizzle it over pancakes? Cookies? It's a question I ask myself every Christmas.
Now they've ruined pancakes?
What exactly is a nog? Well, I mean, like a noggin is your head.
Nog is beverages. So
A nog is a beverage. Actually, is that true?
yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. I didn't know that. Let's see. Most dictionaries define it as a shortened version of eggnog. But how much egg do you really need to make a full-blown nog? According to Hellman's, you need however much egg is in its mayonnaise. Isn't mayonnaise like all egg?
Yeah.
So,
Sorry, egg and oil.
Ew. So, yes, egg is only the third ingredient in Hellman's mayonnaise, behind oil and water. However, America's best-selling mayo still believes that's plenty of egg to give you a perfectly acceptable nog. And it's created its own mayo nog to prove it. Ooh. Working in collaboration with mixologist, that's a cool title, mixologist, Cody Goldstein of Hospitality Muddling Company Muddling Memories. Hellman's muddling mouthful.
Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, right. Let's see. Hellman's created the frozen mayo nog, a snickerdoodle mayo cookie billed as an unexpected new cocktail and dessert pairing, and said to be inspired by the classic holiday tradition of milk and cookies. I mean, if I didn't know that mayo was in that, I might be excited about the look of that drink. As the name implies, the frozen mayo nog completely swaps out the egg for mayo, mixing dark rum, apple brandy, whole milk, heavy cream, simple syrup, vanilla, nutmeg, and cinnamon with a 1/4 cup of Hellmann's mayonnaise per 3-serving batch. Toss it all into a blender and blend until smooth to reach boozy mayo heaven. But why do that with mayo when you don't have to? If you want to try the frozen mayo nog exactly as Goldstein intended, you'll have to head to Amy Fontaine's in New York City from now until December 15th, as it's the only place serving it. A single glass, which can also be made in a non-alcoholic version, will set you back $16. Or you can grab it paired with Snickerdoodle mayo cookies, including a mayo glaze for $24. Not willing to travel all the way to Midtown Manhattan for a glass of Hellmann's Nog? Don't fret. The recipe is also available on the Muddling Memories Instagram page. Is it now? Let's click that little link. Oh.
What have you guys done to us?
No. Come back. Where'd it go? What?
Yes, it's gone forever.
Did I hit
Keep it that way.
They don't want us to discover it.
I'm
Where
fine
is
with that.
Yeah, me too.
No. I am
Recipe, you say?
Well, I haven't had it in years, though.
Oh, there it is.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but would it be sweeter if you used Miracle Whip?
Why will it not?
Probably, actually.
There'd be a tang.
Oh, that's just not right.
Oh, weird. It won't like let
Tangy
me...
Nog. We'll call it Tang Nog.
No.
This purple drink.
Poo-tang.
Uh,
Ooh, shiny.
What?
I don't know, but that's good. Yummy looking. Pineapple, elderflower, lime, boozy whip, gold flakes. That sounds delicious.
A purple agave pina colada. That is what that is.
There it is.
That
Like,
does
why-
sound delicious.
To heck with you. Let's see.
No
back over
mayonnaise.
here.
I'm
Yes.
down.
That's exactly where mayonnaise nog belongs, is in hell. To hell with you is exactly what I would say too. Bye. Bye, mayonnaise log.
Hellmann's isn't the first brand to get creative with nogs for the holidays. Earlier this year, Kellogg's partnered on a waffle-inspired Eggo nog. Lego my Eggo nog. And
Does
last
not
year,
look like eggnog.
Valley. Ew. Raised plenty of eyebrows with the release of their ranch nog kit.
Mm.
No.
Oh, no.
Ew.
Mm.
I mean,
Eggnog flavored ranch packets? No.
I wonder if
No,
you could
that's just not.
Okay,
No.
you know
Please
what?
be nice
I'm
to your taste buds
hold on,
this
hold
year,
on,
people.
hold on. That actually sounds interesting. It sounds like that would taste really good with like dill pickles.
Okay, let's see.
So the
Baby
eggnog
Homer.
Eggo sounds amazing, just like that one cereal that they had specifically for Tropicana orange juice, but we couldn't purchase that. Both sound amazing.
Let's see. I'm looking at the Hidden Valley Ranch shop here because I want to see if they've got any.
Danger, Will Robinson.
Yeah. I've never wanted internet
Report
to crash so much.
Report to
Threat
the
level
Jupiter
7.
too.
She said,
Destroy.
Danger,
About-
Will Robinson.
my friend said she's gonna send me sour cream, onion, bacon, and cheese, salt and vinegar crickets.
Whoa.
I'm sorry, repeat that?
I was taking Lolly seriously about the getting in contact with my friend.
And your friend wants to send you what?
She wants to send me crickets. It is sour cream, onion, bacon, and cheese, salt and vinegar crickets.
All of
That actually
flavors-
sound yummy, but
Yeah.
And
I've
they're
had
actual
crickets
crickets. They're just seasoned that
I've-
way.
Yeah.
That
eaten
sounds
crickets before.
I would
It is-
actually try that.
I've also eaten ants. I've cooked
Salt-
I
ants.
think it's interesting that I'm willing to eat seasoned bugs over
It
mayonnaise
has
nog.
bacon in it. Okay, I might. I might
Crickets
try.
taste like saltine crackers. That's the best way I can explain it.
That sounds fascinating. I will definitely try it because I am brave and will try all of the things.
She
I'll
also
give
just
you
really
that.
likes saltines. I know.
Yes.
So,
That's-
Cinerate, I
Can't help it.
I looked it up. Nog is an old term for a type of beer that used to exist that was particularly strong, and so it became a word for lots of creative beverages that were made in time.
Good to know. Interesting.
Also,
Fruit quake.
yes, like fruit cake, but quake. And let's see. It said that there was look, see, whatever. I'm just looking at pictures right now.
Interesting.
I'm not even reading.
Baby, there's a new Mountain Dew to try.
Do you love Mountain Dew? Try the
Fruit
new
quake.
Mexican eggnog.
As a general rule, I like fruit cake, but fruit quake sounds disgusting.
I feel like it would be like a Mountain Dew version of fruit punch.
Well, it says buy online here. Celebrate the season with a blast of official fruit cake flavor.
Celebrate the season by sending us your money.
Oh, fruit quake wasn't as bad as we thought it was gonna be.
This is
tried
true.
it?
I might actually try it.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can. Let's see. Where's the kickstart?
I'm going to point out you're only saying that after learning about mixing mayonnaise and eggnog.
No, I already knew that one was going to be nasty. This one just sounded like a derogatory term, but actually sounds now delicious. So,
It did, yeah.
You actually thought it was a derogatory term?
Well, fruitcake.
Yeah.
Like when you call someone a fruitcake.
I mean, but like
so fruitquake. So I was like, oh, that's just don't do that, Lolly. No. I was just messing, but
that's with.
I'm like, that actually sounds really good.
I think that they would get all kinds of heck given to them in the news if they were to do something that was actually derogatory. That would be so inappropriate.
Oh no, for sure. But I didn't know it was Mountain Dew sponsor. I just heard something about fruitquake, and I was like, that just doesn't sound right.
Well, I'm trying to find where this fruit quake is, but as per usual, all the links just take me to regular old Mountain Dew. Lame. So annoying. Okay.
Fruit.
Oh no, I was excited for like 2 seconds. I'm like, yeah, we can get some.
You can buy it at Safeway for $2.29 a bottle. You can buy an entire 12-pack at Amazon for $22.79.
It's a Mexican eggnog. It's more alcoholic than eggnog is.
Well, regular eggnog. I mean, if you make homemade eggnog, but like, I mean, regular like at the store isn't. You have to add alcohol to it if you want it to be alcoholic. So I know
recipes do.
So disappointing. Let's see. Well, I kind of want to read this one, like even though I don't have a competition for it. Yeah, that egg. But it's the 10 oddest Guinness World Records of the year. And I just think that sounds hilarious as an article. Does anybody object to me reading this? Because it's 9:31, so I feel like I could just go ahead and read it. Unless anybody greatly objects. What is happening?
I'm tired.
All right, I'm just going to skip to it then. Let's see. And then we can say our goodbyes for the year.
Aww.
Let's see.
So sad. But that's okay. We'll see you all next year. I promise.
Oh, awful.
Even worse.
I think I'll be able to have my hat next year.
Wait, is this the... What? This is not the article that I want.
Oh my god, the female clitoris.
Oh, did I put it? Hang on, I'll fix it.
What happened?
I clicked the wrong
Hang on. Give me 2 seconds.
I got it.
I missed something very, very important. I feel like we should go back.
It's a certain type of Rick rolling that was done to Lolly.
Oh my goodness. I'm not sorry.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, we actually saw this guy who
He
went.
looks constipated.
He's in a
Oh,
pumpkin.
there, okay. Here
He's
we
in
go.
a gourd.
He's in a gourd. Yeah. Let's see. So we did that one. I remember
Huge
reading that
gourd,
article.
jeez.
What else do we have here? What in the?
According to that article, he's in
What the heck?
Most drink cans placed on head using air suction.
What?
Why is this even a thing?
I mean, honestly, what I don't understand is why he didn't shave
I
his
know the
beard so he
Guinness
had
World
more
Record,
room.
Most cans stuck to
What is going on? Oh my god.
I don't know. Like I like how they're all like in a dressing room with all the lights. Like it's a serious sport, you guys.
It's serious.
Suctioning
Like,
cans
don't
to your
smile or laugh. Mm.
Most
Firm face.
eggs balanced on the back of a hand. Let's see. Let's go back. Iraqi man balances 18 eggs on the back of his hand for the world record. Ooh.
Oh no, my anxiety's peaking so high.
I need to learn that trick for when I go collect eggs in the coop.
That'll be
Who needs a
brilliant.
basket, right?
No.
You gotta watch out for accidents. You don't want to get shell shocked.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I thought we weren't going to have any more egg jokes until next Easter.
Excellent.
Just a bit more.
Fastest time to find and alphabetize the letters in a can of alphabet soup. I didn't even know that all the letters.
Thing.
The thing is
I was going to say, do they have all the letters?
That's what I was thinking. And then I'm thinking to myself, how do you know that when you open the can and pour it into the bowl that all of the letters are there? How do you know you didn't get a batch of canned soup that just doesn't have like the letter R?
Well, there was one time I opened one and all I got were a bunch of O's.
No way.
You got SpaghettiOs.
Oh, you got it. Dad
Tightrope
joke.
walk in apples. Oh my God.
In
What?
high heels? What? Is there a video?
Oh Lord have mercy.
Like, you just find that one crack in the sidewalk and you are screwed.
It looks like it's just a photo of that, but dang.
I can't even wear them without breaking my ankle.
Such nostalgia to me and my sister and her friend. And we were playing dress up and they decided to walk down the spiral staircase to my parents' room. And my sister's friend was doing it in high heels. And it was one of those old spiral staircases that is metal with the hole grates. And one of the stills got stuck, twist, and all the way down the spiral staircase she went. I, of course, being an 8-year-old, couldn't help but laugh. And to the point of tears, laugh of just like rolling on the ground. And she's just like, it's just funny. It was funny.
All right, here we go. The fastest time to eat Carolina Reapers.
Oh no.
Ooh, no.
How fast did he do it? It's 8.72 seconds.
Oh no. My mouth is on fire just looking at them.
I like it. I like how they're all like, it's a death match. Largest gathering of people.
I mean, it could be a death
still
match. That
going.
might kill somebody.
So many.
This is so weird. Why is this a thing? Largest 178 people named Hirokazu Tanaka break the Guinness Book of World Records. All these people have the same name. What? I don't even understand. And this is the name that broke the record? It's not like John Smith or something? I mean...
So I think it's all to deal with the Steve off that happened, where all the Steves gathered and
the Joshes.
Joshes,
The
yeah.
Joshes. Yeah.
The Josh
Joshes.
battle. And the 8-year-old one. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. So...
We should do one with all the Chads.
Farthest distance to blow a key. All right. Well, here we go. Let's look at this one, I guess.
What?
The farthest distance to blow a pea. I mean, do you just get like one puff? Do you have to like, what is that dude doing?
Guzzling.
What? The video.
Guzzling and juggling.
No, look, how did that video get there? Like, that's underneath the dude. Do you think they just put a camera there and then he juggled over the camera? Or do you think a person is laying on the ground?
I assume just a camera.
I think he's recorded that himself. That's very amateurish looking.
I mean, we could hope there's somebody under there filming just for the suspense that he might drop a knife. It's okay. They have workman's comp and health insurance. It's fine.
No, not in America.
Not in America.
Wow, this is a thing. This is like an official thing.
I can't believe
They're
that.
Guinness Book of World Records. They're all official. That's how they happen.
No, I mean that pea blowing is an official thing, not that the Guinness
Oh
Book of
my
World Records
gosh,
is
I
official,
need
but-
to practice assembling a Mr. Potato Head now.
Right? Let's see. Here we go.
By the way, just because I got really addicted to looking up different places that we could actually buy Mountain Dew Fruit Quake, apparently they also had one that was Passion Fruit Frenzy, and that sounds amazing too.
Wow, this is a thing.
Wait, what's he doing?
He's
Assembling a Mr.
Head
Potato Head.
in 5.43 seconds.
Alrighty.
Okay, so here's what I want to know now. This is what all of this is making me think of, which is how do you get, like, how do these particular topics get into the Guinness Book of World Records to begin with?
So you write to them, and if it's already a category they track, then.
But if it isn't,
If it.
how do these categories get in there in the first place?
People do it.
I presume
They do that one thing that then they're like, oh, is there anyone else that's done that? No? Well, then you've got the record.
I want to know, because I'm like, what crazy things could we think up to get into the Guinness Book of World Records?
I mean, we made one up with the Baby Bell margaritas.
World's largest fairy convention.
So the world's largest gathering of fairies has actually been done, and it's in the Guinness Book of World Records. So, like,
And how many were there?
I don't know. Can look it up though. Uncle Google knows everything. Let's see. I think it happened in the UK because I think it was done by the Three Wishes Fairy Festival or something.
Why do you assume Google's gender, Lolly? What if they're they, them? What if that's their preferred pronouns?
Oh gosh.
Because
You don't have to answer that. It's fine.
I'm just a follower fairy, and that's what everybody calls Google is uncle. How come you're assuming that the uncle has to be a guy?
That's usually a term for an aunt or an uncle, and usually those terms are followed by a specific gender specification.
I mean, but do they have to be, or are these just societal conventions?
I mean, I have a family member who used to be an aunt that is now an uncle, so...
I'm currently looking up the process.
Okay, let's see. Oops.
Oh, the actual process to get in the Guinness for something new?
Largest gathering of fairies. Let's see. World Record Guinness Book. Largest gathering of people dressed as fairies. 2018. Oh wait, what's this? Okay, so I will share this since you asked. Me. And then had to be all like, call me out about Uncle Google. What? Here we go. Largest gathering of people dressed as fairies in 2018. Who Anna's Hope. What?
Oh.
878 people. United Kingdom, June 10th, 2018. The largest gathering of fairies, 878, was achieved by Anna's Hope in Peterborough, UK on the 10th of June. The Children's Brain Tumor Charity, this, that, or the other. Let's see, part of their flagship event in their 900. Ooh, they were trying, man, they were so close to 900 people for their 900. Look at that. Look at all those fairies. Yeah.
So
Man,
many fairies.
I know. That would be so amazing. I would love to do something like that.
I just have to say, look how grand that cathedral that is not gingerbread is behind them. That looks a lot better.
Do not eat.
All right,
Are we
found out
sure
how
it's
Do not
not
eat.
made out of gingerbread?
All right, I found out how it's done.
Let's see. You
How's
found out
it
how it's done? How's it done, Ion?
So you first make an account on the Guinness Book of World Records website, and
Okay.
then you have the option of clicking to apply to achieve a record, and then you look for the type of records and you select the one that you want, but there's an option to create a new title, a new record type, and then that gets submitted after you describe what it is, and it goes through a review process. The ones that already exist can take up to 12 weeks to even hear back from them for, but they set an arbiter and all that sort of thing. So basically it's done through the website.
Okay, so this is what I think that we should have for New Year's goals for 2023. Number one, we need to invent our own holiday and submit it, because that's one of the things we also, I think, looked at way earlier this year, was how to create your own holiday, right? Like, you know, International Fairies Day, even though there is one of those, it's June 25th. Anyway, so we should make our own holiday, and we should try to find our own Guinness Book of World Records thing that we can do. It's got to be weird.
I know what it is. So our weird Guinness book should be how many holidays one person has created. Let's do it. Make more than just one holiday. We'll just make a whole bunch of national holidays.
How many weird things we've tried to eat. I don't know. Ooh, now we're gonna have to think about it. Okay, so it's now 9:45, and that means it's basically time to go. Otherwise, Flora is gonna fall off the edge of her screen because she'll be asleep. She'll just be like,
I want to do it. I want to do it. I've been waiting. I want to do it.
Are you gonna play? And tonight, the part of Count Morbid will be played by Phoenix Rainbow Light. Before you do it, I just want to remind everybody, you guys, we have 3 more days. Go subscribe to our Patreon. Our current total is 100 and I want to say it's 150, 149. I don't know, something like that. People, that's how much dross each token that you guys will get at the end of the year will be worth, is the amount of total YouTube patrons, coffee patrons, Patreon patrons as well. So for every one of you, this single dross coin will be worth that much. And you can, of course, redeem that for discounts as well at our participating vendor stores. But we're going to have some pretty amazing things at the dross auction at the Fairy Light Convention. So you will be able to also spend your dross there. Yes. And so that is coming up February 10th and 11th at Great Wolf Lodge in Centralia, Washington. And I think
it's
that
gonna be fun.
With all of that said, that brings us around to the final end of our show, you guys. Last show for 2022. We will not be doing a New Year's thing because we're going to be out and about, I think, on New Year's. So we won't be around to do something on the interwebs live. But we will see you guys, of course, next week. We have a Fairy Light in Bulk volunteer meeting on Thursday the 5th. And then we have our first Friday hedge game of the month in Discord on Friday the 6th. So with all of that said, then, all right, here you go. Are you ready, Phoenix? I'm going to make you big.
Dude, make me big. Okay, everyone ready? Ready? Happy New Year, but go away. Happy New Year. I don't want to see your face till next year. Bye. Bye. Go away.
Hello and welcome to FAE Productions. We hope you enjoyed our show with your host, Fairy Princess Ollie. Please hit the like and subscribe button if you had fun with our FAE crew. Don't forget to click that little bell icon to get notifications of upcoming shows. And if you're looking to support your fellow Fae, fly on over to our Patreon, links below.